this umbrella of exclusion, we're seeing people broaden it and try and bring more people in just to save a buck.
A lot of people didn't know this affected them till, they break a leg and they come back to work and they call in sick next day and then they get written up. And they're like, well, I don't understand what happened. Well, now these are the new rules. It's a hard, physically demanding job. And for us to have less days than someone who works straight days, 40 hours a week, that's insanity. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm Jamie from Torch Media. We're here at Queen's Park today, where Auto Workers Against WIN are holding a rally to demonstrate their concern over the Fair Workplaces Act.
Everyone else in the province gets 10 days for if you're sick or you're hurt or your child is sick or there's surgeries, and they get 2 of them paid, the first 2 paid. We only get 7. We work a lot of hours, 6 days a week. We work mandatory 48-hour work weeks. Swing shifts, so I get up at 4:30 in the morning one week, and then I'm going home at 4:30 in the morning the next week. So it's hard on your body. It's hard. You get sick more.
Could you state your name, please?
William Murray. I'm one of the organizers. We started this organization back in December, and it's been rolling ever since.
And what was the main purpose of the organization?
In January 2017, the Liberal government exempted us from the same sick days that everyone else in the province got. And then in 2018, January, they brought in their new Employment Standards Act, in which they exempted us from even more things about overtime and scheduling. So we're out here wondering why the Liberals did this, and why is the auto sector the only sector in Canada, or in Ontario, sorry, that has these exemptions.
My name is Baldini. Well, that's my performance name.
You're the magician of the day.
Oh, I am. That's who I am. I'm the magician. Yes. No, I've actually been invited here by 2 of my friends who are running the this event here. And there are a lot of kids out here, too, because they're here to raise voice for the families. So I'm here to entertain them, keep smiles on their faces. That's really what I'm here for.
Would you mind putting a smile on my face?
No, I thought I already did.
No, that's great.
My name is Jennifer French. I'm the MPP in Oshawa.
And could you tell me about the bill that you tabled?
Yes, I'd be glad to. So it's Bill 55. It is Fairness for the Auto Sector Act. And I'm glad to table it on behalf of the auto sector across the province, who have been left out of what's fair when it comes to emergency leave days. All workers in the province of Ontario were guaranteed a minimum. All workers were guaranteed this in the Employment Standards Act. And then after the act, the government made a regulation that just targeted the auto workers and left them out of what was fair. So all the other workers in the province are entitled to 10 days of emergency leave, 2 of them being paid, except those folks in the auto sector. They only get 7, none of them paid, for no reason that we've been given, for no reason that makes sense, and certainly nothing that's fair. When we're getting into the nitty-gritty of, the competitive advantage of one workplace over another, or not even competitive advantage, but that cost-cutting piece, that's not the bigger conversation. The conversation is, you work in Ontario, you're entitled by law under the ESA to those 10 days, 2 of them paid. Oh, just kidding, not you. You're in the automotive sector. You only get 7, none of them paid. And in Oshawa, as I've already talked about, we have some of the cleaners that are in the GM plants, and they're now being, reclassified, or their designation. They're saying, oh, you're auto workers. What are you talking about? So this umbrella of exclusion, we're seeing people broaden it and try and bring more people in just to save a buck.
So here's what we're going to do. We have a normal deck cards here, and I'm just going to mix them up a little bit like this and maybe cut like that. And the first thing I'm going to do is have you select a card by saying stop.
Stop.
Take that card right there, have a look. You can show it to all the people across the world on the internet. And the crowd goes crazy. All right, and put it back right here, face down. In it goes. Perfect. You're doing wonderful. First part of the trick is not the trick. It's just cool. It's your card. No?
No.
Okay. That moment, that's awkward. I can fix it, though. I can fix it. Watch, I'll just take the queen of diamonds. It's so much cooler if that was your card. But now it allows me to go into phase 2. I rip up the queen of diamonds, turn your hand over, close your hand tight, and put it down on the table here. Cut the cards one more time. The card was not the queen of diamonds. The card, yeah, you keep your hand on that. The card was this one, the 3 of spades, right?
That is correct.
I know, you're all excited, but it was like the second try. It should have been hold your hand here, hold your hand here. It should have been that card. So this is what I'm gonna do to make it up to you. I'm just gonna flick like this, and now the card that's ripped is your card. Show the camera.
It is.
And you know what? That's not even the trick. That's just cool. Now, to be clear, I ripped the queen, not the 3, and then they switch right in your hand. You look perplexed. You should. Open your hand and squeeze tight on the pieces like that. Again, ripping the queen, not the 3. Those ripped pieces are in your hand. Guess what? They're not ripped anymore.
That's amazing.
I'm in the amazing business. That's what I do.
And Premier Wynn sees, yes, the man with the bright orange coat. It's very bright. Would you like to ask a question? And then I kind of let her have it. So, so I can't get through the year without these days. I don't know about you, but it's getting harder and harder to get through the year without these days. And when you're asked to do a job that's got 10 to 15 elements to it, and you're asked to do it in 52 seconds, over and over and over and over again, all day long, sometimes for 10 hours. And you got night shift, day shift, going back and forth, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I don't want anybody to get the impression that I don't like my job and don't like having my job, as I do. I appreciate having my job at Toyota. But it takes its toll on you. It does. And those days are very important.
Yeah, my name is Doug Penner, and I work at the Toyota plant in Woodstock.
How important are those days to you?
Extremely important. Very important for me, especially at this time of my life. I'm getting older, 55, and this is getting to be more of a young man's game.
I'm Charlotte Courtemage, and I'm an employee at the Toyota Woodstock plant. I've been at Toyota for almost 15 years now.
So what does your day-to-day look like at work?
Well, I am a team leader, so I go in an hour before shift to do my startup and make sure everything's ready to go. And some days I'm there an extra 15 minutes after shift, plugging in AGVs and whatnot. During the day, I'm going from team member to team member, walking up and down the line, fixing stuff for those team members that are grueling it out online every day.
How tough are their jobs?
Basically, they have 52 seconds to complete their process each time a new RAV4 comes in. They're bending, they're twisting, they're pushing in pins, their fingers are swelled every day from doing these jobs every day, all day.
Thank you. It's a beautiful day for a protest, isn't it? My name is Lee Sperduti, and I've worked at Cambridge Toyota for 16 years. In the last 16 years, there's some things that I realized, and one of them is that working in an auto assembly plant is hard work. It's really hard work. It's hard on our bodies, it's hard on our minds, and it's hard on our families. Now, last year, the government introduced legislation to limit our emergency leave days, and they called it a pilot project. And we know it's not a pilot project. This protest is not just about our 3 leave days. It's about a corporation sending their lobbyists to our House of Government, to Queen's Park, to put their interests first. We need to stand together to make sure that we get what we deserve.
There are times when things break down, and you pull a muscle or you get run down, your immune system gets down quite often, and you get sick, and you know, what are you supposed to do? Come to work sick all the time? No, I don't think so.
I'm sure everyone else appreciates that.
And let me tell you, if I go over those 7 days, then I'm going to be subjected to discipline from my employer.
It's a tough decision. You either take care of your family or risk discipline at work.
How severe is the discipline? Like, is it fairly swift, or?
There's different levels of discipline, and it levels up. But in my case, as an example, if I were to call in sick for the 3 different times that my daughter was sick this year, totaling 14 days, I would be at the 2nd level of discipline. And I risk getting, by the end of the year, if something else happens to myself or my daughter or my wife, I could technically be suspended or even worse.
So it is important to have.
It's not that I need the 3 days, it's just I would like to have them there just in case.
Some people get sick like January, February, and then what are they supposed to do for the rest of the year? Be magically healthy and nothing goes wrong and to themselves or to their family members, right?
You're always worried about getting sick. And now with these 3 days being taken away from us, getting sick really isn't an option because we have kids, we have our spouses. We don't know when we're going to get sick. We don't know when our kids are going to get sick. And for babysitters, if our babysitter gets sick, we don't have a babysitter for our kid. All of a sudden, we're worried about that. We're no different than anybody else.
So you're losing some of your safety net as
Yeah.
far as the health of you and your family.
Yeah, and we can't book a vacation day for a day that we missed. We have to give 2 weeks notice when we want to change a vacation day.
So what would you say to those people who would just ask, why can't you use one of your vacation days?
Instead of for when we call in sick. The plant I work at, which is a non-unionized auto plant, we cannot do that. We book our holidays in November, December, and that's for the entire year. Once they're booked, they're there. We don't want anything special. We don't want extra rights from everyone else in Ontario. We just want the same rights. I think that's a fair thing to ask. There's 150,000 auto workers in this province and our families, and if the Liberals will not give us our days back, then we'll find another party that will.
We debated the Employment Standards Act ad nauseum. We talked about labor, right? Labor law and labor rights, and that was the debate. That's the actual act. The actual law has been established. Then they do the fine tuning with regulations, and this is where I said this came in. This is not fine tuning. This is an agenda. This is major, and we don't get to talk about it in the legislature. We don't get to talk about it in committee. It was a backroom decision, or however it was made. I don't know. I'm not privy to that. They don't let me in their back rooms. I love being here at Queen's Park. It's a privilege. But usually I'm on the inside. So I'm glad to be out here with workers, and I'm glad that first of all, I'm glad that the weather is great. This is a perfect day for a rally. But there are folks here that have been coming to Queen's Park, through the years on a regular basis, having to stand up for their rights and what's fair. It's maddening to know that they have to keep coming back, that they're always fighting for what it is that they deserve and their basic rights as workers.
We got the NDP on board to come out and speak. So great for them. Awesome. I know we have some Unifor supporters here, and we were really hoping for a lot more support nationally. We never got it. I'm not going to get involved in the politics of Unifor, but I would suggest that if you're an auto worker and you're wondering why this rally happened and you didn't know about it, feel free to speak to Jerry Diaz. I think we can all hold our heads up high, all the people that organized this, and said we did our best. We got you guys out. It's a beautiful day, so we're not going to keep you here that long. We're going to hear some great speeches, and I hope everyone has a great day.
There was a reasonable turnout at the rally today. The mood was full of optimism and solidarity. The auto workers are hoping that with new law and new government, that their lives and their work will be a little bit easier.